Hi, welcome to the Market Alert for Monday, the 9th of November 2020. So Friday, stocks saw to best election week since FDR. Gold jumps, dollar dumps. Everything is awesome. Yeah, so obviously all of these headlines from Zero Hedge are tongue-in-cheek. As we look through the news, I see that Biden apparently has won according to this headline, but he's still being referred to as president-elect because Trump won't step down. And apparently he can stay in the White House for a long time until he's forced out in January. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, this is boosted the futures markets. They're soaring. JP Morgan says the NASDAQ whale is back. The big volatility player in TMT is back in the market. So combined with this so-called media win by Biden, the futures market is higher as well. But this is just perfectly the norm now, isn't it? You know, we've got all of this uncertainty in America and the futures markets are moving to the upside. Whereas in reality, they should be at least trading sideways to lower until this issue is resolved. So it just goes to prove how manipulated everything is, including the news. I could even say elections, I suppose, in one sense. Given the potential with postal votes, it's just staggering. And I mean, that's for any party. I'm not saying this because there's a protest about it at the moment. It just shows you the level of corruption and manipulation that's around in any sort of sector at the moment for whatever the narrative is that they want to have played out. And that includes the virus as well, when eminent scientists and professors are being sidelined. So, but anyway, back to the knitting. The US futures are soaring overnight, but let's have a look at Friday first. Let's just see where we are. The market opened as usual and traded to the upside and managed to drive all the way up to the high after coming back to the BRN here and also to the 200 MA. Prices in the pre-market session continued with the up move. Having a look, I always consult the daily chart just to see where we are, see if we're going to head up towards this 78% retracement, which I will have already spoken about in the previous market alert. Here I'm drawing this onto the chart with this lime green line so I can get an idea of where the market is likely to stop should prices move higher. However, they didn't get anywhere near the 12,566 or 556 because it hit the high and then stopped with selling pressure as a precursor to the market hitting the high, and then prices reversed and moved to the downside. You can see this. Also note it in this price bar, prices closing off the high and the volume also being very high as well. So there's some selling in the top of this bar at the high. There has to be, otherwise prices wouldn't start to move back to the downside. So here we see prices moving lower. Time for a breather in the market's up move. We then get a sell signal, which is a bit of a concern given that Trump could say that he's resigning at any time, and that would send the markets to the upside irrespective of who wins initially anyway. But the uncertainty Biden is going to create, especially with, I don't think it actually took the headline off Zero Hedge, but there was one about COVID where he said he would listen to the scientists, and if it meant shutting America down completely, he would. And given that that is his agenda, because he's part of the World Economic Forum with his Build Back Better logo, then expect that if he does end up being president, which looks like to be the case at the moment, but it's only the mainstream media that have declared this, not the law. So here we've got the DAX moving lower, and we see some buying coming in there with the green bar, currently short at the moment. The market goes down to the close, and you'll see prices heading down there as well to towards the BRN. At this point, should have taken it, I suppose. We had 38 points profit on the table there, but I didn't, and when prices came back, I ended up taking just 20 points instead of the 38, which I suppose I should have in hindsight taken as it hit this line, but I was hoping that prices would continue to go through and move lower, which of course Murphy's Law had a hand in, and they did. After I was out, prices came back, and you can see them closing twice below the 5-bar moving average and then heading below the close, which does allow for the prospect of a re-entry. But the trouble is with last week and possibly this week is that we don't know if Trump's going to make a spontaneous announcement and resign. As I say, that's going to be the difficulty. Anyway, prices trade through the 200. Again, you can see how prices came through, then closed back as well, even though we had some profit taking by the shorts here trying to buy back. It didn't hold, and prices then traded down to the DP, through the DP, and then into the morning they started to trade sideways in a range, and then once more you'll see them continuing to move lower, even though there was attempts to try and buy back the market again. Notice again how the 20-bar moving average was a resistance here at the DP, and again you can see the selling coming in at the DP level and moving prices lower. And this continued into the morning session as well after 10 a.m. So in the afternoon, we had a sell from the start, took this signal, the market moving lower, but again, there's this US thing hanging in the background there. So once again, you'll see in a moment as prices trade. I was hoping they were going to trade down to the 200 MA, given that they'd moved nicely in the morning session. They'd recovered somewhat in the after the non-farm payrolls, but not sufficiently. So when we came back, I decided to take the money off this trade, which proved to be the case, because then we see prices moving to the upside there in just a second, so trading in a range. Then we had a potential buy signal. The market was really quiet at this point, and I had to go and collect a prescription. So once this bar was put in and prices moved back towards break even, I decided I would go and get the prescription. And of course, when I came back, the market had moved up very nicely, as you can see here. So if you're on this trade, great. Adds to the profits on Friday, because every trade offered profits during Friday's session. Then prices came back, and you can see these trading down to the close just there, and then continuing to move to the downside as well. And then there was some news from what I can gather that came out, because as prices continue to trade sideways, there was a sharp sell-off. You can see the spike in the volume there, and then prices reversed to come back. And all of this happened, of course, in my absence. I decided when it was quiet through here and the market wasn't really doing a lot, so it was going to be a Friday night lull with all of the election stuff still going on. And obviously don't have an opinion, because I should have delayed and stayed, as they say, and then prices came back there. So let's see where we are overnight with what's going on. This is the DAX here. We've got the futures market. It's higher, as we saw in the headlines to begin with, through the 78%, and we've got the 89% in view here. The market has moved up significantly in the last week. If we go from this low up to the current high, the market has put on 1,500 points in the DAX alone, and we'll have a look at the Dow in just a moment. Meanwhile, in the 2-minute chart, let's have a look overnight, see where we are trading. Again, we know that the prices have moved high, but where are we in relation to everything else? So we've got prices above the DP, which we can see here, and the 200 MA, all the way up to the R3 there. So at the moment we're already trading miles away from the DP from Friday's high. There's your 200 MA, there's your R2 and the R3, where the market could quite easily go to. This is only 100 points away at this level. So this is where we are in a more zoomed in way. See what's going on. So we're around at the R2 at the moment. Quick look at the Dow. This is already at the 89% as prices have moved higher from last week as well. From this low to the current high, we have nearly 3,000 points on the market here. It is due for a breather, but at the moment there doesn't seem to be any sign of it, does there? You know, we're heading back to all of these highs that we've got here. So have we got any news to support the moves today? Well, let's just have a quick look at the implied volatility before we do. This has dropped down significantly from 32 last week down to 21.74, way below the 20 bar moving average, and green all the way as well. So again, supporting this with short moves being very quick to the downside and then corrected at the moment. So news today, we've got the criminal out, Lagarde is speaking, and Bailey. No doubt Bailey wants to print more money because that's all he seems to announce these days. Tomorrow we've got no news. Tuesday the market will have to make its own direction. Wednesday is a bank holiday for the US and for the Eurozone. I don't know what holiday we've got in... what have we got there? Oh, it's Veterans Day, of course. Yes, it's November. So Veterans Day, all banks will be closed on Wednesday in the US. And Wednesday, the French, an armistice as well, which you'd expect. Most Forex brokers remain open, holiday except Christmas. So yeah, so there's some of the government bodies will be closed. And then Thursday, we've got a whole stack of news as well. Again, we've got our friendly central bank criminals here. We've got Lagarde, Bailey and Powell speaking as well. Bailey's out a lot this week, isn't he? He's speaking again on Thursday morning as well. Anything they can do. And Friday. Wow. He's got a full-time job speaking this week. So, yeah, a lot of central bankers speaking this week to forward the narrative of the World Economic Forum, no doubt, and that plan of the Davos boys. So, we'll see what happens there. And finally, silver continues to move to the upside there. Let's just bring this in, make it a bit bigger. There you go. So you can see that we're heading back now towards these highs that we saw earlier on in the year at the end of July. So moving up sharply once more, which is fine by me. And the more uncertainty we get, the more money printing we get. And that's probably the reason the dollar's falling, because if Biden is officially the new US president, he's going to print like crazy. Don't forget, this is the Pelosi brigade who wanted to print 3 trillion during October, and Trump said no. So you can imagine that the printing presses will be smoking when he gets in. So this is probably why you're starting to see the metals move to the upside as well. Okay, that will do it for this one. If there is anything else to report, I will let you know. But as ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.